said my name like it was home, but your eyes were far away. You held my hand like it was real, but your heart was on delay. I gave you truth without a lie. You gave me half a smile. I built my dreams around your words. You left me in denial. Every promise felt so full, but something felt off inside. You swore to me with open lips, but your soul was somewhere else to hide. You chose the lie over us when the truth was in your hands. You chose the dark over my light. You chose escape over plans. You chose the lie over us, and I believed your disguise. Now I'm standing with the truth, and you're buried in your lies. You laughed with me beneath the stars, but cried in another place. You said my love was all you need, but I was just a waiting space. I counted days, I counted signs. I trusted every word. You were mastering perfect lies while I was unheard. I felt the distance growing slow like waves before a storm. Your silence spoke in heavy tones, but I kept myself warm. You chose the lie over us when the truth was breaking through. You chose the wrong when you had right. You chose them over what we knew. You chose the lie over us, and I stayed far too long. Now I'm dancing with the truth while you're hiding what is wrong. Now the ocean doesn't whisper lies, it crashes honest and loud. The sky doesn't fake its tears, it cries in front of the crowd. I learned that love should never beg, should never fear the light. If someone loves you secretly, they'll leave you every night. You chose a lie over us, so I chose myself instead. I chose the road that doesn't break everything I said. You chose a lie over us, now I walk a cleaner line. I lost the love I thought was real, but I found this heart of mine. So take your secrets far from me. I don't carry stolen trust. You chose the lie, I chose the truth. Now love is ashes, just. I pack my dreams in quiet bags, no tears left in my eyes. Your shadow stayed on every wall, but I was done with lies. You didn't notice I was gone until the room felt white. You kept your world of half-truths warm, while mine learned how to rise. I waited long enough for change, for honesty to breathe, but waiting turned to wasting time, so I chose how to leave. I left without asking you to stay, without begging you to care. I walked like letters never sent. I forgave you in the quiet dark for everything you meant. You said I'd run back in the end, that I regret this pain, but peace feels louder in my chest than calling out your name. I loved you hard, I loved you true, but love should never cry. I learned that staying in your storm was no love at all. I left without asking you to stay, without breaking down in tears. I chose myself for once in life, after all these wasted years. I left without asking you to stay. I didn't look behind, because the love I lost in you, I finally found inside. The ocean never holds the tide that doesn't want to stay. The sun still rises after storms that try to block the day. I was drowning in your almost love, in promises too thin. Now I'm breathing in a new horizon. I don't have to beg to win. I left without asking you to stay, and somehow I survived. I carried every broken piece and learned how to feel alive. You kept your word of empty vows, of maybes and delays. I chose a road that doesn't ask for love in borrowed ways. So this is my quiet victory. No fight, no shattered scream. I left without asking you to stay, and walked into my dream. You always said I weigh too much, said my doubts was just in my head. You played the calm, you played the trust, while I was lying half unfed. You held your phone like it was stone, like nothing lived inside. But I felt a heartbeat in the dark, where your secrets learned to hide. Every question met a wall, every tear you called a game. You made me feel like I was wrong for sensing change inside your name. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, not in your words, not in your smile. I saw your guilt in the way they look, like they'd known you for a while. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, while you were swearing you were clean. Now I know where your heart was hiding, while you were sleeping next to me. told me love was built on trust, but you taught me how it breaks. You taught me how a perfect life can wear 1,000 different faces. Your voice was steady, calm, warm, but your shadow told the truth. While I was building our forever, you were building your escape route. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, in the way they hid the pain. I saw your story falling apart in every word you couldn't claim. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, and it shattered every lie. You were never really all with me. You were learning how to divide. The ocean doesn't whisper twice, it crashes once and clears the shore. The wound is deep, but now it's real. I won't live in doubt no more. If love was hard to stay alive, then it was never love at all. It was just fear dressed as a dream, waiting for the fall. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, so I no longer need your lies. You can keep your double life. I'm done with silent goodbyes. I saw your truth in someone else's eyes, and it finally set me free. You lost the one who loved you whole, while I found the rest of me. Now every wave reminds me clear, some things are lost but not in vain. I saw your truth, and in that truth I learned how to heal again. We were moving under neon sky, your shadow holding mine. You said tonight was only ours, but your heart crossed another line. You smiled like nothing was wrong, like your world was clean and true. But every beat inside my chest was warning me of you. Your eyes avoided questions, your hands were losing heat. You pulled me closer to the light, while slipping through the truth beneath. I was dancing while you left someone else, spinning blind in borrowed light. I was dreaming in a broken spell, while your heart was ours. I was dancing while you loved someone else, thinking I was all you need. Now the rhythm feels like goodbye to a love that lied to me. You said the name like it was nothing, but your voice began to shake. You said I was just overthinking, touch became unsure. You were already halfway gone, while I was still standing pure. I was dancing while you loved someone else to a song that wasn't mine. I was holding on to yesterday while you were crossing an eerie line. I was dancing while you loved someone else, lost inside your double light. Now the floor is empty, the lights are low, and I'm done being your disguise. The ocean knows how to let go, it gives and pulls away. The moon doesn't fake its glow, it fades just the same. I wish I learned to read your silence instead of every lie. I wish I walked the moment your love began to divide. I was dancing while you loved someone else. Now I dance alone but free. I'd rather feel this honest pain than live in your deceit. You were laughing in another world while I was calling you mine. Now I leave you with your two-faced love and take back what was mine. So keep your music far from me. I will move to stolen sound. I was dancing in your illusion. Now I'm walking solid ground. You said you were tired of the day, like nothing else was on your mind. But every time you looked away, I felt a shadow cross the line. Your phone was closer than before. Your silence learned a different tone. I felt a wall between our hearts, though we were never alone. You held my hand but felt so far, like something changed inside your flame. I said your name inside my prayers. Between us stood another name. Between us stood another name. One I never got to see. You built a secret in your smile and let it stand between you and me. Between us stood another name. In every word you tried to say, I was fighting for a love that stayed. You were already on your way. You spoke of dreams that weren't our own, with places I was never in. You laughed at jokes I didn't hear. You smiled at calls I couldn't win. I kept believing in the calm. I kept ignoring all the signs. I thought your distance needed space, not knowing kisses felt like they were paused. Your eyes avoided mine. I felt another presence grow inside the love I tried to find. Between us stood another name, softly speaking in your ear. You called it nothing, called it space, but I felt the truth drawn near. Between us stood another name, in every promise you delayed. I was holding on to what we were. You were learning how to fade. Now the ocean shows me clearly what my heart refused to know. Sometimes love doesn't leave in anger, it just quietly lets go. I don't blame the road you chose or the person you became. I just grieve the space between our hearts where there was only flame. Between us stood another name, but now it's gone from me. You carried it into your future. I left it in the sea. Between us stood another name, but I reclaimed my part. You walked away with hidden love. I stayed with an open heart. So I leave your shadow on the shore with questions I won't claim. Between us once stood silent pain. Now only peace remains. You drew our future in the sand, said forever was our plan. Said my name like it was fate, like you would always be my man. But the night had different doors. You chose the one I couldn't see. You wore my hope like it was light and switched it off on me. Your words were sweet like summer rain. Your actions cold like stone. You said my heart was where you stayed, but you never stayed alone. You promised me forever, but gave them tonight. You told me I was your only star, then vanished in the light. You promised me a heartbeat, but I felt it fade in time. You sold tomorrow for a moment and called the moment fine. I waited on our unfinished dreams, like letters never sent. I kept your voice inside my head, like something heaven meant. While I was saving all my love, you were spending it for cheap. I built my life around your soul. You built excuses in your sleep. Your silence spoke in heavy tones. Your truth began to slip. You kissed my forehead with goodbye while love was on your lips. You promised me forever, but gave them tonight. You swore that I was your only truth, and lived a double life. You promised me you're all in love, but folded at the line. steals a glow. But you learned how to be everywhere except where I needed you most. I learned the hardest type of pain is loving what won't stay, the kind that doesn't scream goodbye but slowly walks away. You promised me forever and vanished in a night. You took my trust, my quiet dreams, and traded them for temporary light. Now I promise me tomorrow, with a heart that's bruised but strong. You gave them just one moment, but I gave myself the dawn. So keep your empty always now. I'm done being your in-between. You promised me a lifetime, but tonight showed who you've been. You're still beside me in the sun. Your darkness faced another way. I felt the distance in your touch, even when you asked me to stay. You carry stories in your eyes I was never meant to read. I loved you in the open light. You loved me in between. Every time I pulled you closer, you were already gone. I was building something real. You were hiding what went wrong. Your shadows were never mine. I followed someone else. I held your truth with open hands. You gave your lies to someone else. Your shadows were never mine. No matter how I stayed, I loved you in the day. You loved me in this way. Your footsteps sounded unfamiliar, even walking next to me. You spoke my name but not my soul. You touched my hand but not my knee. I waited for your honest face, but you wore a different skin. I was fighting for you forever. You were already halfway in. Your silence kept on growing loud. Your excuses learned to grow. I asked for truth, you gave me calm, but calm is not a home. Your shadows were never mine. They lived where I couldn't go. I stood inside your open arms, but your heart was never home. Your shadows were never mine. And now I finally see I was loving you in truth. You were living secretly. Now the ocean holds my questions better than you ever did. The waves don't hide behind a smile. They crash and they forbid. I don't hate the love we tried. break the part unseen. Sometimes the deepest betrayal is loving in between. The shadows were never mine, but I carried them too long. I thought I could be a light, but your dark was never on. Your shadows were never mine, and now I set them free. You keep the life you hid from me, I keep the truth in me. So I walk away from borrowed light, from love that couldn't stay. Your shadows walk with someone else, mine fade with every wave. You stood beside me in the light, but your shadow walked alone. You said my name like it was home, while your hands held a different tone. I felt the change inside your breath, the distance in your eyes. You smiled the same, you held me close, but everything inside you lied. Every promise learned to tremble, every truth began to part. I was loving you completely, you were choosing where to start. You chose a different heart, while I was giving you mine. You built a secret in the dark, I trusted every sign. You chose a different heart and left me standing still. I stayed inside the love we made. You followed someone else as well. You said our love was getting strong, while it was slipping through your hands. You talked about a future here, while packing other plans. I waited in your steady words, I waited in your sound, not knowing every step you took was leading you away from now. Your silence started speaking loud, your distance learned my name. I was fighting for what we were, you were playing a different game. You chose a different heart, while I chose only you. I made a home inside your arms, you made another truth. You chose a different heart, without a sound or sign. You took the love I offered you and crossed a different line. yesterday, where broken choices stay. You chose a different heart to love. I chose to walk away.